Mel, the Portuguese word for honey, the sweet and golden natural wonder crafted by diligent bees. It might be a delight to the palate, but how did the refusal to have a drop of nature's goodness end up being a factor in a faithful's banishment? It's funny when you think about it, but in this world of deceit and mistrust, the littlest things can find you having to defend yourself against multiple players at the round table. A simple slip of the tongue can mean the difference between trust and treachery, between alliance and isolation. Every word, every gesture is under scrutiny. Say the wrong word, react a certain way, or have a particular job and you're a suspected traitor, possibly on course for banishment. It doesn't take much to find yourself in the crosshairs of suspicion. In a game where everyone is both hunter and hunted, paranoia runs high and the stakes are even higher. So how does honey play into a faithful being banished? It seems absurd at first glance, but let's delve deeper into the story of Lara, Lewis, and the seemingly innocent breakfast that turned into a pivotal moment of intrigue and accusation. Breakfast is not just a time to have your first meal of the day. In this world, it's when the traitors have to do some of their best acting, pretending to be surprised every time someone enters the breakfast room. It's also where everyone starts their day discussing their theories of who was murdered and who the traitors are. It's a daily ritual of suspicion and deduction. This particular breakfast started like any other. An innocent question from Luis to Lara should have been easily forgotten. Luis simply asked Lara if she wanted any honey. It was a benign question, the kind you might ask without thinking twice. But Lara's response ended up having a domino effect on her status in the game. What did she actually say? It was a simple off-the-cuff comment. She mentioned she would have honey the next day. Lara corrected herself, realizing the potential implications, but it was too late. That brief hesitation, that minor slip, was enough for Lewis to catch onto. To Lewis, this meant that Lara was a traitor. Saying she would have honey the next day implied she had no reason to fear being murdered that night, because she'll be the one doing the murdering. Except Lara wasn't a traitor. She was just a player who made an innocent comment, but Lewis didn't know that. In this game, perception is reality, and Lewis perceived Lara as a traitor. Lewis took this small piece of suspicion and ran with it. He shared his theory with others, repeating the story of Lara's comment and adding his own interpretation. By the time the players gathered at the round table, quite a few had heard the honey tale from Lewis. Honey, the sticky substance that ended up being a sticking point. It was a spark that ignited a fire of suspicion against Lara, but it wasn't the only thing that had people questioning her role in the game. Jonas weighed in, saying he felt a change in Lara, especially at that breakfast. Others added their voices, each with their own reasons for suspecting her. The accusations began to pile up, creating a crescendo of doubt and mistrust. If anyone was still undecided, Carla's comments might have tipped the balance. There was much talk about Sonia, who had been murdered the previous night, and who she suspected of being a traitor. It was known that Sonia believed she had spent time with the traitor on her last day. Zhao and Lara went back and forth, each accusing the other of being the one Sonia had suspected. Then Carla dropped a bombshell. She claimed Lara had mentioned Sonia telling her the names of who she thought was a traitor. This took everyone by surprise, including Lara. She vehemently denied ever having such a conversation with Sonia. Lara was so perplexed by Carla's accusation that she openly questioned why Carla would lie. Lara's defense of herself only made others believe she was a traitor even more. Her impassioned denials and accusations against Carla seemed like the desperate moves of someone trying to deflect suspicion. When asked who she suspected, Lara mentioned Alicia, Carla, Zhao, and Joanna. She emphasized her suspicions about Zhao multiple times, but ultimately chose to vote for Carla following their heated exchange at the round table. Pedro, however, chose to vote for Zhao, breaking from the consensus. In the end, out of the 17 players, 15 voted to banish Lara. Luis may have thought he didn't influence anyone, but his strong character and compelling storytelling played a significant role. In a game where every piece of information is crucial, the honey tale was a deciding factor. There weren't many counter-arguments that could have helped swing votes away from Lara, so the others all had their part to play alongside Luis. In the end, honey, That sweet and sticky substance ended up being the catalyst for a chain reaction of suspicion and accusation. This story highlights just how delicate and precarious the balance of trust and deceit is in this game. A single word, a seemingly innocent comment, can set off a series of events that lead to someone's downfall. So if you're on the traitors, be careful what you say. In this game of treachery and betrayal, even the smallest things can have the biggest consequences. And as for Lara, a slip about honey proved that in a world where trust is scarce, every word can stick.